I think I'll take that hackler, we all have so many different titles, don't we? We're daughters, we're sisters, right? We're friends, we're mothers, right? We're life architects, we're business strategists, we're conquerors, we're survivors. We're tough as nails sometimes, aren't we? I have a couple of titles that I love more than anything, and I just the older I get, I just keep getting more titles, right? It's just one of these things. I haven't gotten grandmother yet. It's probably on its way soon, but my most favorite title, I've got 3 that I love the most. Number 1 is the Shame Slayer. Who's with me? There you go, right? I love that title. I love being a shame slayer, just like, Kim. I mean, it's a thing with us, right? We're all about eradicating shame. My other one is a generational shifter, because it stops with us, right? Absolutely, it can stop with us. But my most favorite title is Daughter of a King. Can I get an amen for that? Absolutely. I am so humbled to be here tonight. I've been such a fan of icuTalks and of Kim, and she's like, yeah, make sure I mention my name. For all of those that know Kim, and just to come up after, Adia up here, sharing her heart and her soul and her journey with God, and how amazing that is, right? Wow. An interesting fact, Kim and I share a birthday together. It's the same day. I'm a lot older. Okay, so, hey, watch that now, Kim. But, in our generation, we had these sitcoms. They always had these little jingles. Who here remembers Gilligan's Island? Right? Everybody's going, yeah, I remember that. Some of you young ones are going, I have no clue what that is. All right, so, you've all heard songs, and you hear the jingles and all that really kind of cool thing, and it kind of sticks with you. And sometimes you play games, when you have game night or whatever, and they say, oh, do you remember the song, to this or to that? And so I'm not a singer, as everybody in my world knows. I like to think I am in my car by myself. So I'm not going to kill you with me singing this, but I do want to let you know that the first 2 verses of that song, the first 2 lines of that song from Gilligan's Island, is really kind of about my story. And I'm going to tell it to you now. So it's just sit right back and you'll hear a tale of a fateful trip. Yeah, I had a fateful trip. I think we all have had fateful trips, right? And as my friend Andy from Ireland, he made me make him a promise. He says, girl, whatever you do, whenever you get on stage, do not, and I tell you, do not start a story out with, and over salad one day, this happened, right? So I promised him that we would not talk about salad, so we're not going to do that. But as background, guys, I do want to kind of share a little bit with you, so it'll kind of set the stage for hearing about my fateful trip, one of them at least. So my former husband was a consultant, and I was a consultant and strategist as well during our early years, traveling all around the world, just honestly, on top of it, it was fantastic. I got to see the world, right? It was just magnificent. And, a few years into that, we were so blessed because we got pregnant, and I'd always wanted to be a mommy, right? So that was amazing. So for a handful of years, I got to trade in my title of FSBP to mommy. And let me tell you, that was amazing, amazing. And so, I just dove head first into being that mommy and hard, right? I mean, what all that is. And, it was wonderful. And as my kids grew up, I got to be the room mom, and I got to be the soccer mom. And, I just got to go in there and read little stories to their classrooms and got to play. And, oh, my gosh, what a difference from corporate that was. And it was so beautiful and so amazing to be able to pour into their little lives. And, at that time, I really was able to get really even more involved than I was prior to becoming a mommy with community. And so I got to sit on a few boards of directors of children's ministries and things of that nature. I actually became a Stephen minister. And, I just got really involved in my church family. And I loved it so much. And it was my whole world. And, what's so amazing is that people on the outside can look like they got it together, right? I mean, we look at Facebook, we look at Instagram. There's this highlight reel, all these pictures, and you look in and you go, wow, they got an amazing life. Needless to say, they weren't there before the picture was taken, and when, they were probably fighting cats and dogs and, be still, make sure you're smiling that right way and doing this and doing that. You're not seeing that. But it looks really good, doesn't it, when you're flipping? So we kind of had that life, right? We kind of had the life that looked good on that highlight reel, But I'm going to tell you something. Don't judge a book by its cover, because it was anything but the pretty highlight reel. I was in a really, really, really tough marriage, guys. And, I thought, like so many women of faith, if we stand up and show up and serve, Auntie talked about, wanting to be there every time the doors open and welcoming people into our home and, having life groups and leading ministries and doing these things like that, right? That you think if you're obedient and you serve and you do and you show up, that God might take away my husband's unfaithfulness. And he just might end the cruelty. He didn't. And so sometimes you learn that it's not all roses. And sometimes you learn and you get to learn a lot of great ride. So there was a daily dance, you work hard, you serve, you do this, and you hope, and you pray, and you think, right? Well, as much as I did that, man, I'll be honest with you, I probably had, carpet burns on my knees from praying so much. Yeah, I was hopeful, right? But God had a different plan. So my husband, he broke me, finally. He broke me, right? I was like this hopeful, polypositive and trying and all that stuff. Like, even though I was silently suffering, he actually broke me. And he said 5 words that actually changed the whole trajectory of my life. But before I tell you those, what I want you to do, I'm going to set the stage with this. So I want you to close your eyes, okay? I just want you to close your eyes, and I'm going to paint this picture for you. It's Christmas time, and I don't know about you guys, but I just love to decorate at Christmas. It just makes me feel good. So my house is all decorated, and the mantle is all laid out. Man, it could probably have been in a magazine. It was just like, I really worked hard at it. It was before the Pinterest days, but I was still good at it. And, it was amazing. And, you looked at the Christmas tree that just filled half the room, and there was these presents underneath it, and the stockings were laid up there with care. I love making, some just ambiance, and so I always have candles burning, right, and some music playing. So get with me, feel all that, right? Just feel it. Kids are already gone up to bed. It's just a beautiful, delicious time of the evening, fire in the fireplace, Christmas time. So my husband walks in. I mean, this literally was like out of a Norman Rockwell setting. So my husband walks in, and he announces with 5 words, "I'm leaving you. It's over." Keep in mind, this is a week before Christmas. Have you ever had a slow-mo feeling? Like, you just like, literally everything was moving really slow. Because I was trying to process what all was happening. I mean, it wasn't a great marriage. I'll give you that. We went through, all kinds of counseling and all kinds of everything. We did everything, right, that we tried. But it was still not enough. No matter what I did, it was not enough. So here I was in slow-mo, scanning around the room, looking at the Christmas tree, looking at all this stuff, thinking about my boys upstairs in their beds a week before Christmas. How's I going to pull this off? Talk about faking it till you make it, right? I was vacillating between just barely able to breathe because I'm sitting there, my whole world is spinning, thinking, what's going to happen next? What about my boys? What are they going to experience? What's going to happen to me too, right? This life that we had built, or I thought that we had built, it changed. In 5 words, it changed. And I knew that this was going to be their last Christmas, right? Their last Christmas before their world is shattered. And I wanted to try to make it special. So I did what any good woman would do. What do you think that was? I stuffed it. And I sucked it up buttercup, right? And this is why, because we all do that, right? In times of trouble and things like that. But this is why Kim has so many clients, right? This is why Kim has a Porsche, all right? This is exactly why, I kid you not. So, but I was literally, man, I'm not going to lie. In the South, everybody comes up to you and they says, how are you? And you go, I'm fine. Well, I was not fine. I'm so really glad that the people stopped asking me about that because, I was trying to be fine, but I was not fine. Mental health is a real thing. And when you go through stuff, you can't stuff it if you're going to get it right. All of a sudden, I was, like I said, I had a double D moment, right? I was discarded and kind of dejected, dismissed, actually. Maybe it's a triple D moment. But I put on a brave face for my kids. That was the hardest thing I had to do because I felt like a liar. But I didn't want to destroy them. So being broken and drowning, because that's what really happened. I'm not going to lie. I was drowning in it. And it was not a pretty drown. It was not like, all poison and stuff. I mean, I was sobbing like, you think crying out to Israel. You think that, seriously. And I got mad. And some of you are probably going to go, oh, golly, she got mad at God, But it's the truth because I have a relationship with God. And God gets mad. You think about Jesus in the temple. He didn't come up to him and say, hey, man, you just need to shut this down. Did he? No, he came in there blazing angry, and he just threw it up. That's righteous anger, and I had righteous anger too. And he knew that, and we needed to wrestle. We needed to do this together. And I was mad at him because I was like, look here, man. I tried to honor a dishonorable man for you because I love you, Jesus. What is going on? Right? I mean, I was kind of like a pouty child. I'm not going to lie. What is going on? I'm scared to death. And I'm filled full of shame because we had this highlight reel, right? And here I was showing up now, separated, almost divorced. People didn't look at me the same way. They looked at me like, you must have done something wrong. I was like, man, I was working, I was trying, Rejected. And suddenly, alone. Wow, after 17 years, I was suddenly alone. Yeah. During this time, man, I felt like I got a raw deal, and I felt really hemmed in, not gonna lie, okay? I'm sure that y'all felt that way sometime or another during your lifetime when something didn't work out exactly the right way that you thought it was going to. So, and I will say that divorcing a narcissist, that's like a full-time job, and then you throw in, Kim's like, oh, yes, but, you throw in trying to normalize your beautiful children, make them feel worthy, loved, and just enough, and it's going to be all right. So you throw in that, and then you throw in having to get the house ready to sell because he's making you sell it. I mean, I could go on and on. So I was mad. And I was in this divorce wilderness. Literally, I was in a cesspool. Man, I was living in a destroyed state, trying to smile and say I was fine all the time, right? To everybody to ask. Well, I became kind of undone. And I got a call from my daddy, my sweet daddy. And you know that feeling like, when he goes, honey, I think you need to come over. We got to have a talk. You feel like, oh my gosh, okay, like I'm 8 years old again, and I'm in trouble. It's almost that principal's office kind of feeling. I'm like, oh God. And so I drive over to my daddy's, and the niceties, blah, 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 hug, 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 get down to it. Right? So my daddy, he says, honey, and he looked at me, and he got really quiet, and that's when, you get a little scared, you get a little nervous, like, what's going to happen next? I already felt like that rug had been yanked. I'm just thinking, I got a little bit more rug. Let's leave it there. And he says, honey, you've simply forgotten. And I'm looking at him, and in my mind, because it's running literally like a rat, at this point, because, I'm thinking, did I forget something on the legal end? Did I forget to pick up my child? What's going on? What have I simply forgotten? But my sweet daddy, he goes, nah. He goes, honey. And he reached over to me, and he says, honey, you've simply forgotten who you are. But more importantly, whose you are. At that moment, have you ever had that moment you just kind of go, and you wake up? You wake up, you're like, I must have been in this sleep, this deep, deep sleep. It was so foggy. But all of a sudden, it just, boom, I had deep clarity. And I was like, you are so right. I was like, whoa. Yeah. And I was like, okay, that's crazy. So all the way home, it's really amazing because I talk to God, just like, we talk to our friends, and all this kind of stuff. And he talks back to me. I don't know if he talks to you that same way, but he does. And so what was really interesting was as I was talking to him, I was like, God, I'm so sorry. Wow, I totally forgot who I was and I just got swallowed whole. I'm so sorry. And he says to me in this amazing way, he goes, girl. And, he talks to me that way. I don't know if he talks to y'all that way. Okay, but he talks to me that way. He goes, girl, you got to rip off that shirt of shame right now. He says, you got to put your armor back on, and you got to straighten that crown. He goes, we got work to do. Amen. That's right. We got work to do. And you know what's so amazing, right, is that he was sitting here and doing his amazing God thing that he always does. He lifts us up, right? And so he gave me 3 directives, and they were, we're going to rebuild, we're going to reinvent, and we're going to reemerge. R3, right? Okay, so what's so amazing is, I don't know about you, but God just talks to me so funny, and then he'll give me this big directive, and he'll do this amazing thing, and so then the song comes on a radio next, and it's called Fight Song. Have y'all ever heard of that song, Fight Song? Okay, I am not a singer. I'm not going to blow this here, so I'm going to read you just a few of these little lines, right? Because I don't sing it. This is my fight song. Take back my life song. I kid you not, right? Our God is so cool. He says, prove I'm all right song. My power's turned on. Starting right now, I'm going to be strong, and I'm going to play my fight song. And I really don't care if nobody else believes, because I still got a lot of fight left in me. And that was, thank you, because you know what? That was so meaningful for me at that time. He just talked to me. He told me what to do, and he gave me that fight song. And then next, guess what comes on? Mandisa. What? How many Davis fans in the house? Oh my gosh, yeah. And so this was her freedom song. I don't know if you've heard it, but I'm only going to say a couple of the words. Again, I'm not a singer. I do sing in the shower. It says, praise to the Lord, my chains are gone. Can't help but sing this freedom song. Guys, I felt like I was in the book of Daniel with Meshach, Shadrach, and Abednego, right? Getting ready to go in that fiery furnace. Amazing, because guess who showed up with them? And then they got out of there. They should have been smoked right there, just like I should have been smoked, and I felt like I was getting smoked. But I didn't. I walked out of there with God, not smelling of smoke, and the only thing that was gone was my chains. My chains. So I got to work, being a consultant, I do the crazy process stuff, and I threw it up on a whiteboard my life and said, okay, here's who God says I am, and here's all my strengths, and here's my opportunities, and here's what he told me to do, so let's figure this out. Because everything, and I want to say this, everything, he will give it to you. He will give it to you. So I want to take you real quickly to Genesis 50, when Joseph, everybody probably knows this story of Joseph. And so this is so amazing, and that you all need to know it. This is when his brothers came, they needed food, they needed grains and all that stuff like that. So Joseph knew that was them. And so he came and says, you intended to harm me, but God intended it for good. Now hold on. To accomplish what is now being done, the saving of many lives. The saving of many lives. And then it goes on to say, don't be afraid. Don't be afraid, because I'm going to provide for you and your children. Amen, right? I mean, seriously. So this tragedy was for me, guys. For me. It was a refining process. And it's really so funny because you become sure-footed. How many know the term sure-footed? Yes, sure-footed. It is in Psalms chapter 18, David says, he makes me as sure-footed as a deer. You're sure-footed, so you have confidence. So now I got my foundational truths, I got my confidence, I got all this stuff. And in Jeremiah 29, he says, and you can say this with me, God has a plan for us. Plans to prosper and not harm, right? You got to love that, guys. You got to love that. And it's for a hope and a future. And so I want to say that whatever you're going through, think about what a mighty God that we serve. What a mighty God that we serve. There's another verse that I'm going to leave you with, and because it's really amazing. It's Matthew 7:7. Ask and it shall be given to you. Y'all know this one, since you're probably yay high. Seek and you shall find. Knock and it shall be opened. And for everybody that asks is going to receive. And whoever seeks this is going to find. And whoever knocks, it shall be opened. I didn't just knock, guys. I pounded on that door and said, let me in. Let me in. And he did. And so now my life is so beautiful, and I'm so grateful for going through that refining process. There's a blessing in it, an absolute blessing in it. And I want to take you really quickly to James 1:2, and it says, count it all for joy. All, not the spa days and the really pretty highlight reel, but count it all for joy. And so if I'm up here and I'm going to tell you that I went through hell and back with a divorce, but not only that, I had cancer twice. I had 2 miscarriages. My mother committed suicide, and I had a heart attack. It was a mild event, but we're good, right? But if I can sit here and say that I can now count that all as joy because this was my refining process, it gave the opportunity for me to step into who he wanted me to be. It deepened each time. There is a blessing in it, guys. There's a blessing in it. So again, I'm living my dream that I've architected through him, getting to serve so many through an international company and a movement. R3. Right? And this is not my company. This is his. Guys, this is his. This has got nothing to do with me. This is all his. So I want to tell you tonight that you can totally turn your brokenness into beauty. You can totally turn your uncertainty into clarity. You can certainly turn your loss into leverage. And you can certainly step boldly before the throne of God, because he loves you so much. So tonight, I have a little gift for you, and it's going to be outside if you want it. I know that some people are a little, afraid of touching things right now with COVID, and I understand that. But outside, as you leave, if you want, you can take this nail as a reminder, because what I want for you guys more than anything is to know how loved you are, how precious in his sight you are, and he will meet you where you are. And he loved you so much that he took a nail for you. And you need to sit on that and think about it. And always remember, when you feel suddenly alone, grab your nail. You're not alone. You're never going to be alone. So tonight we're going to rock the house a little bit. Are y'all ready to rock? Right? Woo! Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to go, I'm going to have y'all stand up, if you will, get your bottoms out of the seats, because, this is like a really jamming time. So in true Mandisa form, I'm going to give you my gift of sharing with you the freedom song. So if you want, you can dance, you can sing, you can do whatever. So take it away. We're going to do the freedom song.